So here we are on YouTube. Here we are on the gram. And so there we are right now. Here we are on YouTube. On the Zoom. We are on the Zoom. And we're also on the Facebook.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we kind of figured that out. Let's get this thing here going. Put that over there. Maybe get rid of that. Aloha. Good afternoon. Here we are with, we're on the third day for the third movie to review in this series of horror, ghost, spirit, maybe even zombie movies that we'll be reviewing for the rest of October. The first 5 movies are in keeping with the theme of paranormal investigations. And so whether it's self-professed professionals, certified professionals, rank amateurs, these movies have been and will continue to be for next couple days about people who go on paranormal investigations, whether they're trained or not, and have some stuff happen to them. Ooh. How's everybody doing, by the way? Are we doing okay? Everybody over here in the gram doing all right? And over here on Facebook. It's a Monday. Everybody's probably at work right now, coming back from their lunch break. And so we are going to go forward with this review. I apologize to you guys on Instagram and YouTube. We got to figure out how to maybe later post photographs of the pictures of the movies we're talking about. And so today it's a film called Next of Kin. It falls under the Paranormal Activity franchise. The first one was done in a very, very low budget, made a bunch of money, and subsequently had a bunch of sequels, 5 or 6, I think, and probably more to come. And so a lot of studios and producers don't want to finance more and more Paranormal Activity movies, because it's pretty much getting to be the same formula until somebody else figures out something that's unique, something that no one's ever done before. It will continue to be the same formula. So let's do this here. And so if you can see it, there it is, Next of Kin, released in 2021. The plot involves a young woman named Margot, who, when the movie opens, we see is preparing for a trip to somewhere in the Midwest, Amish country, and a bunch of her friends are preparing camera equipment, sound equipment, and she has just found out that she has gotten some sort of connection, a video which she sees of a woman abandoning a child at a hospital. The woman's face isn't too clear, and that turns out to be her mom. And so someone reached out to her and identified themselves as family, and that's where they're going on this journey through this film. So they meet up with a pretty cool guy when they get to their destination, who provides the van to get them to where they're going to go to meet her family, the relatives of the people who were related to her mom who abandoned her. And so they're picked up in a green van, and immediately as they're heading out, it's starting to snow, which was already a sign that things are going to go wrong. And it's an Amish country. The person who called is the connection that they meet, who's going to take them there. And apparently he was on his sabbatical of some kind away from his Amish family and was now going back. And so they get to the Amish house in the middle of nowhere in this snowstorm, excuse me, and are summarily rejected from staying at the house. So they have to go stay at a five and dime hotel and basically bunk together until, and this is how you know things are already are on the wrong path. When their connection is rejected from staying at the house by his Amish father, there's a little boy, Eli, that has to be chased back into the house. And so now they're miles and miles away at some five and dime hotel, all bunched up together in the same room, 2 beds, trying to figure out where they're going to sleep. And jump scare, the girl Margot, the center of this documentary, goes to use the bathroom, walks into the bathroom, and of course somehow she hears a big noise before she goes into the bathroom, and lo and behold, the bathroom window is open. And so this is all a POV, point of view. So the camera's panning around the bathroom, and then when they get back to the window that's open, the face of the little boy, Eli, pops up and scares the shit out of everybody. And so there's already a plot hole. How does a little 6-7-year-old boy on foot by himself make it from that Amish home in the middle of nowhere in this snowstorm, probably more than 6-7 miles away? How does he make it to that five and dime on foot by himself, and how does he even know where it is, and how does he know what room they're staying in, so he knows what window to climb to peek his face into and scare the crap out of everybody, right? Already one big plot hole. And so the entire crew has to bring little boy Eli back to the Amish farm, the house, return him to the family, and in exchange for that, they are allowed to stay and they're allowed to film. And so that sort of filming involves the head of the Amish family trying to find out any information she can, this girl Margot, about her mom, who was part of this Amish community and was left or was shunned because she would not conform. But we begin to find out one day as Margot is talking to everybody. She's interviewing a little girl who's sitting there playing with her doll, little Amish girl, and starts asking her questions about her mother, Margot's mother. And the little girl cryptically replies, "She's still here." And then drops her doll and takes off, which gives her some trepidation as to what really factually is going on. And so during their stay, the floor above them, they hear someone walking around, and they hear a noise and footfalls. And so, as it is in this movie, or this type of movie, everything you're not supposed to do wrong is what every character in this movie does. Completely the wrong thing. And for me, and if a little girl tells me that my dead mom is in a place where everybody's living at, that I don't know, who are complete strangers to me, that is the sign to leave the place. That's the sign to hop in the van and get the hell out of Dodge. Or as they say here in Hawaii, get the hell out of Kaka'ako. But no, other things keep popping up that piques everyone's curiosity, and rather than leave, they end up staying until it's too late to do anything about it, practically. And so Margot that night sneaks into the room above hers, rifling through the drawers, finds this little tin. And so it's those circular tin cans, if you guys remember, where your mom kept all of her sewing stuff. The push pins, the push pin, the pin cushion, there you go, and all that other stuff. So that's what Margot finds, and she finds a letter and reads it. And mind you, all of this is taking place while she has a camera held in her hand. And so when she's reading the letter out of the circular tin can, and she has the camera positioned toward her, facing her, and it has night vision mode, which means the Margot character does not have lights shining upon her, but yet she's reading this letter in the complete dark, and actually grabs the camera and positions it over the letter where you can see what's written. But how does Margot herself how is she able to read this letter in the pitch black, right? And so she finds a secret passage behind the drawer, and eventually questions the head of the Amish house. And so during the day, none of the Amish girls. The movie is Next of Kin 2021. The Amish girls won't say anything. And so the culmination of that is when they finally decide it's time to leave, because they also find a church in the middle of nowhere. And Margot and her friend / boyfriend, there's a huge altar in the middle of the church. It's all made of wood. They push it away. They find a trapdoor which leads down to, a long and winding tunnel, which Margot rappels down to and gets to almost to the bottom of the tunnel and gets a weird feeling and is summarily pushed back up. And so now is when they figure out that they can't be there. They gotta go. But when they do decide to go, they also see the Amish men pushing the van into the barn, because now it's stuck. It won't start. So the way this goes is the two male characters have to walk through the snowstorm to go find a store to buy a new battery. Coincidentally, a male delivery driver is driving by, picks them up, takes them to town, and when he asks the two gentlemen where they're staying, and he identifies the farm, I think it was like the Bueller farm or something, that character reveals that family that lives at that farm is in fact not Amish. Not Amish at all. They are in fact demonic worshippers. So not a worshipper, or not worshippers of the devil himself, but worshippers of a particular kind of demon, whose name I will not mention. For everything I talk about, and the one thing I will not do is speak the name of a demon. And there's self-proclaimed demonologists out there and all this other stuff, freely pronouncing the name of every demon that they've come to know, as if there's some sort of pal or somebody to know personally. But for me, because you're dealing with such dark entities, and I can't really reveal what this is because of the society I belong to, but I will say for each demon, there is a specific description of who they are, what their task is, and what is the thing that can bind them and make them weak. That much I do know. And what I also do know is pronouncing the name of a demon, even though I'm not Catholic, Christian, Protestant, what have you. I'm a Buddhist. I'm a cultural practitioner. But even I know pronouncing the names of demons is probably not a good thing. Yeah, not even in jest. And so there's a specific demon that this supposed Amish family is worshipping, imbuing. And so what is found out is that Margot's mom ran away because she was supposed to be the one in her generation who could, of the females only, who could embody being possessed by this particular demon. Because, as we find out, it is only the women in that community that can bind that demon and keep it where it is. And so what we find out is that the creature that's been lurking about and killing things and eating people is in fact Margot's mother, who has been the keeper of that particular demon. And so it's from Margot's mother that she and her friend have to escape. And that incarnation of that demon in Margot's mom, it's a horrendous looking thing. I have to say it's a good practical effect. She nearly kills the both of them. They get out of there just by the skin of their nose, take off in the van. A call has been made to the police, who arrive after the fact. So they come upon a scene on the property where everyone's killed, animals are killed, axes in people's backs, heads, decapitations. And so the first police officer arrives, calls for backup, goes into the barn, and finds the Amish boy who was the connection that brought Margot to the farm, except now he's possessed by that demon because the form of Margot's mom has been killed by Margot herself and her friend. And through some sort of a telekinetic power, he's able to force the first police officer to shoot himself. The second one shows up, confronts this Amish kid who was the connection to bring Margot, and telekinetically forces or makes that officer kill himself too. And so the last shot of this movie is this young Amish boy who lured Margot and her friends to this community, now possessed by that demon, drives off in the police car, wearing only a pair of pants, nothing on his feet, no shirt on. And so that, of course, tells us that everything is left open for a sequel to Next of Kin, or yet another addition to the Paranormal Activity franchise. The actress was very good. She was definitely committed to her role, even though it was... what do you call that? What is it called? It's not even a documentary. Reality-based documentary, which we know is not reality, but she was able to stay in character, and her transition was nice from being this wide-eyed young woman who comes to this Amish community to meet the family of her mom who gave her away, only to find out that this was not pure coincidence, that this was planned. The entire community had been following her online, and they said they had no Wi-Fi, but Margot finds out the head of the Amish community in his closet has definitely got a Wi-Fi hookup, Bluetooth, got a laptop, and for a couple of years she discovers they had been following her, tracing her steps. And so all of that was not a coincidence. That's this connection just suddenly popped up and made the connection that Margot was related to them. The whole thing was planned. They lured her to that farm. So the actress is good. She kind of looks like the actress who played Meadows Soprano in The Sopranos. Let's go back to the thing here. But as far as the Paranormal Activity franchise, I mean, it's been what, more than 10, almost 15 years since the first one came out, and the formula is getting predictable. It's getting old, and the shaky camera effect was giving my wife, making her feel dizzy and sort of nauseous. So either at some point this Paranormal Activity franchise is just going to die a death that it was supposed to have died a few years back, or someone is going to come up with something a bit more unique, original, and breathe new life into this franchise. I think on a personal level, what was curious to me is that in this plot, in this pseudo-documentary style Paranormal Activity movie, the one tech guy, I forget his name, I think it was Walter. It's always the nice guy who dies too. But you'll see how. I'm not really giving away anything you don't know, because the second you meet this character who's like 6'7", you pretty much figure it out toward the beginning, who's going to die and who's going to live. Hey, Tess. And so it's that guy, but it's sort of sad. And my point is, the main tech guy who brings all the equipment, the Walter character ends up doing the sound, the boom mic and everything. But the main character, which I found strange, and I don't know, it's maybe it's because we've been inundated with so much of this from social media, or maybe maybe that's why the male character, male carrier, who was also African American, said that the family is not Amish, they're really some other sort of thing, which may have explained why the Amish family, or the supposed Amish family, did not react to the tech guy who was black. Which is maybe a good thing. Maybe I'm making too much of it. I don't know. they suspiciously, it was suspiciously convenient that they were not bothered or did not say anything or any type of acknowledgement that this African American young man was in their Amish home. I don't know. I apologize. If I'm just thinking too much, it's my fault. But overall, the franchise has got to come up with something new because it is your typical POV, camera point of view, young people, middle-aged people. The plot line is they go to places they're not supposed to go to, knowingly do things that they've been warned against to do, which also happens in this film. And they go do it anyway because they got to find out. Maybe it's maybe because they feel it's privilege to them that they have to go find out, even though the warnings are emphatically dire. Do not cross go. Don't go into this place. Don't speak this name. Don't wear these clothes. And they do it anyway. And, by that point, you know everybody's going to get killed. And if somebody survives, they're probably going to get killed in the sequel or whatever the continuation is. So, Next of Kin, completely up to you. Completely up to you if you want to do it. Tomorrow's feature is called, what is it called? Let me look at this. Sorry. Oh yes, tomorrow's feature is called Terrified. And so Terrified gets a 4.3 rating, audience rating summary. And let's see. And so it's in Spanish language, which I find very interesting. Released in 2017. Not rated, an hour and 27 minutes. So Terrified is the title, Spanish language film, which is originally titled Aterrado. Aterrados. Sorry, I don't want to butcher the language. Aterrados. So, Terrified. And so the plot point is simple. When strange events occur in the neighborhood in Buenos Aires, a doctor specializing in the paranormal, sorry, I haven't eaten yet, paranormal, her colleague, and an ex-police officer decide to investigate further. So it's the way the investigation is conducted that seems to be the interesting points of this film, which we're going to review tomorrow. So it's called Terrified, released in 2017. Spanish language film, originally titled Aterrados. Aterrados. So looking forward to that one. Let's see. Otherwise, thank you for enduring this review, for as much as I had to review the movie itself. On the gram and over here on YouTube, I wish there was a way that I could post or share a picture so you guys could see the movie poster for these films. And so we'll try our best. We'll figure it out. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock here, reviewing the film Terrified, Spanish language film released in 2017. And the theme for today and tomorrow, which will conclude 5 days of these films, are themed paranormal investigations, which is why we did Ghostbusters Afterlife and Ghostbusters Answer the Call. And today we did Next of Kin, which, I apologize, it's Paranormal Activity, but it's basically POV. They're not doing anything involving parapsychology or anything like that. So, my apologies for that one. But tomorrow, Aterrado. Terrified. And as the plot says, strange events occur in a neighborhood in Buenos Aires. A doctor specializing in the paranormal. Now, this is right up our alley, the paranormal. Her colleague and an ex-police officer decide to investigate further. So, there we go. Okay, thank you so much for popping in. And we'll be back at 1:30 tomorrow. I got a thing tonight downtown, so I may do another live on the gram when I get there. But thanks for popping in here on YouTube, over here on the gram, and right here on the Meta. All right, you guys stay out of trouble. I'll try and do the same. Aloha. Okay.